Hi, I'm Diana. 3 months ago, I was driving home from work when a truck ran a red light and slammed into the driver's side of my car. I don't remember much about the impact, just the deafening crunch of metal and then darkness. I woke up in the hospital with a broken leg, 3 fractured ribs, and a concussion. My roommate Zoe was sitting next to me, her eyes red from crying. "Oh, thank God," she whispered, grabbing my hand. "You've been out for almost 2 days. How do you feel?" "Like I got hit by a truck," I mumbled, wincing as pain shot through my ribs, which I guess is pretty accurate. "The doctor said you're lucky. It could have been so much worse." Zoe's voice cracked slightly. "I've been trying to reach your parents, but they're not answering." "Did you try the landline? Mom never checks her cell." "I tried everything, Diana. I left messages everywhere. I even called your aunt. A nurse came in to check my vitals and adjust my medication." "How's our patient doing? Good to see those eyes open." "Have my parents called the hospital?" I asked her. She checked my chart. "I don't see any calls logged from family members, honey. Just your roommate here." After she left, Zoe squeezed my hand. "I'm sure they'll call soon. Maybe they're traveling or something." I knew better. My parents were probably focused on my perfect sister, Ellie. They always were. "Can you hand me my phone? I'll try calling them." Zoe hesitated. "Diana, you need to rest." "Please, Zoe. I need to tell them what happened." She reluctantly handed me my phone, which had survived the crash better than I had. I dialed my parents' number, ignoring the pain that shot through my arm with every movement. My mother answered on the fourth ring. "Hello? Mom, it's Diana. I'm in the hospital. There was an accident." "Oh, Diana!" Her voice wasn't concerned but excited. "I was just about to call you. Your sister just got engaged. Tyler proposed last night at the Gardenia restaurant. It was so romantic. He had the ring hidden in the dessert." I stared at the ceiling in disbelief. "Mom, did you hear what I said? I'm in the hospital. A truck hit my car. I've been unconscious for 2 days." There was a pause, then a dismissive laugh. "Oh, I'm sure it's nothing serious if you're able to call. Your sister's been planning this engagement dinner for months. We're all going shopping for dresses tomorrow." "I have a broken leg and fractured ribs," I said flatly. "Well, you always were so dramatic," she sighed. "Listen, I have to go. We're having a celebration dinner. I'll have your father call you later." She hung up before I could respond. Zoe stared at me, having heard the entire conversation through the phone's speaker. "Diana, I'm so sorry." I placed the phone on the hospital bed, a strange calm washing over me. "You know what, Zoe? I'm not even surprised." "Your dad will call," Zoe said, but her voice lacked conviction. My father never called. Neither of my parents visited during my week-long hospital stay. My sister sent a generic get well text 3 days after my accident, claiming she was too busy with engagement planning to visit. It was Zoe who drove me home from the hospital. It was my colleague Marcus who organized a meal train among our coworkers. It was my elderly neighbor, Mrs. Chen, who checked on me daily. My family? They sent an invitation to Ellie's engagement party. 2 weeks after returning home, I was struggling with basic tasks. Showering with a cast was a nightmare, and I couldn't cook or clean properly. Zoe was helping when she could, but she had her own life. One afternoon, there was a knock at my apartment door. "Coming?" I called, hobbling across the room on my crutches. I opened the door to find my cousin Jared standing there with a casserole dish. We had always been close growing up, though we drifted apart in recent years. "Hey, stranger," he said, his eyes widening at my appearance. "Damn, Diana, you look like I got hit by a truck," I finished for him. "Accurate. I just found out yesterday. Aunt Kathy never mentioned it to anyone in the family." He stepped inside, placing the casserole on my counter. "My mom made this when I told her. She was horrified no one told us." I hobbled back to the couch. "Yeah, well, Ellie's engagement is apparently the only family news worth sharing." Jared sat across from me. "I don't get it. Why wouldn't they tell anyone? Or visit you?" "Because I've never been their priority, Jared. You know that. But this is different. You could have died." Mom laughed when I told her I was in the hospital, I said flatly. She actually laughed. Jared's face darkened. That's messed up, Diana. Tell me something I don't know. No, I mean really messed up. Like there's more to this story. He hesitated. Look, I wasn't going to say anything, but after seeing you like this, you deserve to know. Know what? Your parents have been helping Ellie financially for years. They paid for her apartment, her car, even her vacations with Tyler. I stared at him. What are you talking about? Ellie always said she was doing well at her job. She barely works. Her fashion consulting business is a hobby your parents bankroll. And now they're paying for this massive engagement party and wedding. It's like they're obsessed with making her life perfect. Well, they can't even visit their other daughter in the hospital, I said quietly. There's more, Jared said uncomfortably. Your grandmother left you money in her will. A lot of money. It was supposed to go to both you and Ellie for college, but... But what? Your parents used your portion for Ellie. They've been covering it up for years. The room seemed to spin around me. That's not possible. They wouldn't... My mom found out last month. She's been furious about it. That's why she and your mom aren't speaking. I felt like I'd been hit by that truck all over again. How much money? $50,000? I gripped my crutch until my knuckles turned white. I worked 2 jobs to pay for college. I'm still paying off student loans. I know. It's wrong, Diana. Later that evening, after Jared left, I received a text from my mother. Don't forget Ellie's engagement party next Saturday. Wear something nice, family photos at 3 p.m. sharp. I stared at the message, then at the cast on my leg, the medical bills piled on my counter, and the prescriptions I was struggling to afford. Something inside me broke, and then something new formed in its place. I picked up my phone and called Marcus, who had become a close friend during my recovery. As a paralegal, he might know how to handle this situation. Marcus? I need your help with something. It's about my grandmother's will. The day of Ellie's engagement party arrived. Despite Zoe's concerns, I was determined to attend. Are you sure about this? She asked, helping me into her car. You don't owe them an appearance? I'm not going for them, I replied, adjusting my dress over my cast. I'm going for me. Marcus had connected me with Taylor, an estate lawyer who confirmed what Jared had told me. My grandmother had indeed left money specifically for my education, and my parents had violated the terms of the will by diverting those funds. The party was being held at an expensive venue, with white roses everywhere and champagne flowing freely. My parents had spared no expense. My expense, as it turned out. I spotted my father first, laughing with some relatives near the bar. Diana, he exclaimed when he saw me, his surprise evident. We weren't sure you'd make it. Wouldn't miss it, I replied. Nice party. Very extravagant. My mother hurried over, her smile faltering at my appearance. Diana, you should have told us you were still in that cast. We have photographers here. Sorry my broken bones are inconveniencing your photos, Mom. There's no need for that tone, she whispered harshly. This is your sister's special day. It's an engagement party, not a wedding, I corrected. And speaking of special treatment, I had an interesting conversation with Jared recently. My father's expression changed. This isn't the time or place, Diana. When would be a good time? During my hospital stay when neither of you bothered to visit? Or maybe while I was struggling to afford my medical bills because I spent all my savings on student loans? My sister approached, her new diamond ring sparkling. What's going on? Diana, you're making a scene. I'm just having a conversation with our parents about Grandma's will, I said calmly. The one that left money for both our educations. Ellie looked confused. What are you talking about? She doesn't know? I asked my parents. Interesting. My mother grabbed my arm. Diana, stop this right now. I pulled away. No, I don't think I will. You see, I've spent the last week with a lawyer who specializes in estate fraud. The color drained from my father's face. You had no right to... I had every right, I interrupted. Grandma left $50,000 for my education, money you took and spent on Ellie instead. Ellie stared at our parents in shock. Is this true? Of course not, my mother said quickly. Your sister is just jealous of your happiness. Jealous? I laughed bitterly. Mom, you laughed when I told you I was in the hospital. Dad never even called me back. I could have died, and neither of you cared enough to visit me once. We were busy with the engagement preparations, my father muttered. Several guests had stopped to listen. My Aunt Claire approached, her expression concerned. What's going on here? Just family business, Claire, my mother said tightly. Family business like stealing from your daughter? I asked. Or ignoring her when she's critically injured? Claire's eyes widened. What is she talking about, Kathy? Nothing. Diana is being dramatic as usual. I pulled out my phone and opened an email from Taylor. This is a letter from my lawyer detailing the terms of Grandma's will and how those terms were violated. I'm pursuing legal action to recover the funds, plus interest. My father grabbed for the phone. You can't do this! Don't touch me, I warned, stepping back. The documentation has already been filed with the court. You would ruin this family over money? My mother hissed. No, Mom. You ruined this family when you decided one daughter was worth investing in and the other wasn't. You ruined it when you stole from me. You ruined it when you couldn't be bothered to visit me in the hospital. Ellie was crying now. I didn't know, Diana. I swear I didn't know about the money. I believe you, I said quietly. But you never asked why our parents could afford to pay for your apartment while I worked 2 jobs through college, did you? The room had gone silent. My father stepped toward me, his face contorted with anger. You've always been selfish. Always thinking about yourself. Richard, Claire warned. Don't. No, I want to hear this, I said. Tell me how I'm selfish for expecting my parents to care when I almost die. Tell me how I'm selfish for wanting the money my grandmother left for me. You're making a mistake, my mother said coldly. If you do this, you're no longer part of this family. I looked at her for a long moment. I stopped being part of this family the moment you laughed about my accident. 6 months after Ellie's engagement party, I sat in my lawyer's office reviewing the settlement agreement. They're accepting all terms, Taylor said, sliding the document across her desk. Full restitution of the $50,000, plus interest and coverage of your recent medical expenses. Marcus, who had become much more than just a colleague in the past months, squeezed my hand. It's finally over. Not by choice, I noted. They fought this every step of the way. Most people do when they're caught stealing, Taylor replied dryly. The important thing is that you stood up for yourself. After signing the paperwork, Marcus and I walked to a nearby cafe. My leg had healed, though it still ached when it rained. Have you heard from any of them? He asked as we sat down. Ellie texted last week, I admitted. She postponed the wedding. Apparently, she and Tyler have been fighting about money since she lost her parental subsidy. And your parents? Radio silence since the judge ruled in my favor. Does that bother you? I considered the question carefully, less than I thought it would. The hardest part was accepting that they were never going to be the parents I needed them to be. You deserved better, Marcus said simply. My phone buzzed with a text from Zoe. Apartment is all packed. Movers coming tomorrow morning. I smiled. Zoe's ready for our new place. After the settlement, I had decided to use some of the money to move into a better apartment with Zoe. The rest would go toward finally paying off my student loans. Are you ready for tomorrow? Marcus asked. More than ready. It's a fresh start. As we left the cafe, I spotted Jared across the street. He waved and jogged over. Hey, just the cousin I was looking for. How did it go with the lawyer? They settled, I told him. Full repayment plus expenses. Good, he said firmly. Listen, I wanted to invite you to dinner next week. My mom's hosting a family thing. Jared, I don't think... No, not them, he clarified quickly. Just the cool relatives, the ones who actually care about you. I smiled. I'd like that. Later that evening, as I packed the last of my belongings, my phone rang with an unfamiliar number. Hello? Diana? It's Ellie. I paused. Hi. I I wanted to say I'm sorry for everything, for not visiting you in the hospital, for not seeing what was happening. You didn't know about the money, I reminded her. But I knew how they treated you. I just didn't want to see it because it benefited me. Her voice cracked. Can we talk? Maybe coffee sometime? I thought about it. I'm not ready for that, Ellie. Maybe someday, but not now. I understand, she said quietly. For what it's worth, I'm proud of you for standing up to them. No one ever has before. After we hung up, I stared at the boxes around me, my life packed up and ready for a new chapter. The money had never really been about the money. It was about recognizing my own worth when my parents couldn't. Mrs. Chen knocked on my door with a housewarming gift, a small plant. New beginnings, she said with a smile. Thank you for everything, I told her, for checking on me when I was hurt. It meant more than you know. Family isn't always blood, she replied wisely. Sometimes it's the people who show up when you need them. I looked around at the empty apartment that had seen me through the hardest months of my life. Tomorrow, I would move into a new home. I had recovered my grandmother's gift. I had stood up for myself, and I had discovered who my real family was. Not the people who shared my DNA, but the ones who shared their time, their support, and their love when I needed it most. What would I say to others facing similar betrayal? Don't set yourself on fire to keep others warm. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself and for them is to hold people accountable for their actions. Have you ever had to create boundaries with family? Share your story in the comments. And if you found Diana's journey meaningful, please subscribe for more stories about finding strength in difficult circumstances.